You don't predict the market. You already know what it's about to do. The number is sitting in front of you, buried inside a confidential earnings report that hasn't gone public yet. It's not speculation, not analysis, just certainty, waiting to be used. You sit in a dim office, monitors casting blue light across your desk. One screen shows your trading terminal. Another holds a spreadsheet of shell accounts. The report sits open beside them, time-stamped, restricted, not meant for you. You move the cursor anyway. You enter the trade, not large enough to draw attention, just precise enough to matter. A quiet order routed through an intermediary account, masked behind a dormant corporate profile that hasn't moved funds in months. The system accepts it, but not silently. A compliance flag flickers in the background, low priority, auto-generated, queued behind hundreds of routine checks. It doesn't stop the transaction, it just records it, tags it, waits. You lean back, watching the numbers settle. The profit is immediate, clean, justified on paper, but something shifts underneath, because now the system has seen you once, and it won't forget. It starts small, just one decision no one is supposed to see. Level 1, the first leak. You're inside the firm, but not important enough to be noticed. Your badge gets you through the same doors. Your login opens the same systems. But your name doesn't trigger alerts when you stay late or access files just outside your role. You sit at your desk with a quiet screen open. Internal reporting, draft figures, numbers that haven't been finalized yet. A small discrepancy catches your eye. Revenue is slightly higher than projected. Not enough to move headlines, enough to move price. You don't react immediately. You copy the figures into a blank spreadsheet, adjust for guidance, run a quick model you built yourself. The outcome aligns. Subtle beat, upward pressure. Predictable if you already know. You open your trading terminal on a separate device, personal account, clean history, no patterns. You place the trade. Not large, not aggressive, a measured position routed through your primary broker, justified by market noise, buried in daily volume. You close the window, lock the screen, return to your desk like nothing changed. The next morning, the earnings release goes live. The market reacts exactly as your model suggested. Your position closes in profit within minutes. Inside the system, nothing breaks. Your broker records a standard gain. The exchange logs another ordinary trade. No compliance flags escalate, no calls, no interruptions. But the timestamp is there. Exact entry, exact exit, perfect alignment with non-public information, stored quietly in your account history. You check the numbers again, not the profit, the precision. No slippage, no guesswork, no variance. You didn't predict anything. You already knew. And now there's a record of it. Level 2, controlled advantage. You stop waiting for it to happen by chance. Now you look for it. Your access hasn't changed, but your attention has. Internal emails, draft presentations, pre-release summaries left open on shared drives. Nothing labeled confidential in a way that blocks you, just early, unfinished, exposed. You build a routine. Morning, scan internal chatter, filter by project codes, flag anything tied to earnings, mergers, guidance updates. Afternoon, cross-check with your own models, refine timing. Night, position yourself before the release, small but deliberate. You don't rush the trades, you split them. One order through your main account, another through a secondary broker tied to a shell company you registered months ago and never used. Different sizes, different timing, same outcome. Each trade looks independent, justified by market movement, buried inside normal activity. The system processes everything without resistance. Orders fill, positions settle, profits close clean. Somewhere deeper, the records begin to cluster. A compliance engine scans transaction histories across accounts. It notices timing, entries just before announcements, exits just after volatility spikes. It assigns a low-risk score, nothing actionable, just a pattern forming inside a dataset too large to prioritize. You keep going. You add sector plays, moving capital into correlated stocks before industry-wide shifts. You follow internal signals across departments, not just one report, but a network of early indicators feeding your decisions. Each move works. Not perfectly, but close enough that variance disappears over time. Your account grows steadily, no spikes, no losses worth noting, just controlled, consistent gains that don't ask for attention. But the alignment tightens. Entry points matching internal timestamps, exit points tracking public releases within seconds, multiple accounts converging on the same outcomes from different directions. It still looks like skill, until it doesn't. You review your positions, adjust your exposure, and open a larger order window than before. Because at this point, it doesn't feel like risk anymore. It feels controlled, and no one is watching.
Level 3. Pattern recognition. Your profits don't spike, they accumulate. Clean, steady, controlled, each trade small enough to explain, consistent enough to disappear into performance metrics that reward stability without asking how it's achieved. On the surface, it looks like discipline. Underneath, it's alignment. You tighten your process. Internal drafts become signals. Calendar invites become timing markers. A delay in a finalized report tells you when information is still moving, when it hasn't reached the outside yet. You stop reacting to numbers and start anticipating the moment they will exist publicly. You adjust execution. Trades no longer come from one place. You route them through layered accounts, personal, corporate, and one offshore entity registered under a holding structure that only exists on paper. Positions split across brokers, staggered by minutes, sometimes seconds. No single account shows the full picture. Every order still fills, every exit still lands where you expect. Inside the system, nothing stops you. But something starts observing. A surveillance model processes millions of trades daily, filtering for statistical anomalies, timing precision, correlation with market events, consistency beyond expected probability. Your activity doesn't trigger an alert, it forms a pattern, a cluster. Not urgent, not escalated, just different enough to be stored. The model builds around it. Trade frequency, entry windows, exit behavior, cross-account similarities. It doesn't know your name, it doesn't need to. It recognizes structure before identity. You continue refining. Faster execution, tighter windows, less exposure time between entry and release. The gap shrinks until your trades exist just ahead of movement, never early enough to look predictive, never late enough to miss the shift. From your side, it feels precise, controlled, invisible. From the system's side, it feels repeatable, recognizable, persistent. A behavioral profile begins to take shape, an outline of actions consistent enough to separate from noise, but quiet enough to sit below thresholds designed for immediate action. You don't see it forming, you just see results, accounts growing, positions scaling, risk fading into routine. You lean into it, because nothing has pushed back, nothing has questioned you, nothing has broken. And that silence starts to feel like confirmation, like absence of attention means absence of risk. You feel invisible, but the system has started remembering you.
Level 4. Network expansion. It stops being just you. Not by design at first, just overlap. A message forwarded one level too far, a casual comment in a shared call about numbers that haven't been released yet, someone else noticing the same timing gaps you learned to read. You recognize it immediately. They're seeing what you're seeing. You don't ask directly, you test it. A small position placed after a vague hint, a mirrored trade executed minutes after a conversation that shouldn't have meant anything. The outcome aligns, not perfectly, but close enough to confirm. So you expand. Encrypted chats replace scattered emails. Burner phones replace office lines. Information moves in fragments. One person shares timing, another shares direction, you handle execution. No one holds the full picture. That's the structure. You coordinate without calling it coordination. Trades are split across accounts, across firms, across jurisdictions. Your shell companies take one side of the position, theirs take another. Different brokers, different volumes, same underlying move. The market absorbs it like noise. The money grows faster, not in spikes, in layers. Each event carries more weight, each trade scaled slightly beyond the last, justified by prior success. You move capital through offshore accounts, cycle profits back through consulting invoices, keep the books balanced just enough to pass surface checks. Inside the system, something changes. Compliance teams start pulling threads. An internal alert escalates, not tied to one account, but to a cluster of activity moving together. Trades across separate entities aligning too closely with the same events. Timing differences measured in seconds, patterns that don't match coincidence. The system doesn't see conversations, it sees synchronization. Multiple accounts entering positions before announcements, multiple exits collapsing within the same narrow window, a network effect where independent actors behave like one controlled structure. The flags move higher, from automated scoring to manual review. Analysts begin mapping connections, shared IP ranges, overlapping counterparties, repeated routing paths through the same offshore intermediaries. Nothing conclusive, not yet, but enough to justify attention. You don't see the review, you just see the results. Larger gains, faster turnover, a system that still executes your orders without resistance, no calls, no freezes, no direct pressure. So you push further, because the distance between action and consequence still feels empty. But underneath, your accounts are no longer isolated. Your trades are no longer independent. Your identity, fragmented across profiles, companies, and jurisdictions, starts to compress into something visible when viewed as a whole. The money compounds, quietly, relentlessly, but so does the pattern. And now it's big enough to be seen.
Level 5, the pressure zone. It doesn't stop. It slows. Orders that used to fill instantly now hesitate for a second longer than they should. A transfer between accounts sits processing instead of clearing immediately. Nothing fails, nothing blocks, just friction where there was none before. You notice it. A request from your broker asking to confirm trading rationale on a position that closed days ago. Another email, routine language, compliance tone, asking about the source of funds behind one of your shell entities. Standard questions. Poor timing. You don't answer immediately. You start adjusting. Trades get smaller. Entry windows widen. You delay positions until after minor leaks instead of before major ones. Accounts rotate. One goes quiet while another becomes active. Capital shifting through offshore routes, masked behind consulting payments and layered invoices. You clean the surface. Inside, the records remain. Investigators don't look at single trades. They reconstruct sequences, timestamp by timestamp, account by account. They map your entries against internal events, overlay your exits with public releases, and measure the probability of it happening naturally. It doesn't, so they keep building. Your activity forms a timeline, early signals, immediate execution, consistent profit, the same rhythm repeating across different accounts, different brokers, different jurisdictions, too structured to ignore, too consistent to dismiss. You don't see the model, you feel the pressure. A call goes unanswered from one of the people you've been working with. Messages stay unread longer than usual. When they respond, it's shorter, vague, careful. Something has shifted. You check shared channels, silence where there used to be noise. One of the offshore accounts tied loosely to your network stops moving entirely. No trades, no transfers, just dormant. You isolate.
You reroute what you can, close what you must, reduce exposure across every point you control. The system still processes your actions, but slower now, like it's watching each step before letting it pass. This isn't noise. This isn't coincidence. The friction isn't random. It's directional. You open your transaction history, scroll through the timestamps, the precision, the pattern you built without thinking anyone else could see it. And for the first time, it feels like someone is reading it the same way you did. Not guessing, knowing.
Level 6. The desperate trade. The system doesn't push back. It closes in. Your accounts still function, but the edge is gone. Profits flatten. Signals feel delayed, diluted, watched. The network around you has gone quiet. No new information, no shared timing, just fragments that don't connect anymore. You sit in front of the screens, waiting. Then it appears. A draft acquisition, unreleased, final stage, confirmed. Not a hint, not a projection, a decision that will move the market the moment it's public. You don't question it, you don't test it, you act. You open multiple terminals at once, positions across equities, options layered for leverage, capital pulled from 3 accounts and consolidated through a routing path you used before. Fast, efficient, familiar. Orders placed within seconds, size larger than anything you've done, exposure you can't unwind quietly. The system reacts immediately. Orders fill, but not invisibly. Liquidity shifts, volume spikes around your entries. Surveillance systems flag the concentration, timing, scale, correlation across instruments. Alerts don't queue this time, they escalate. In parallel, regulatory feeds ingest the trades. Cross-market monitors link the activity. Equities, derivatives, offshore accounts executing in sync. The pattern that once blended now sharpens under scale. You see none of it. You're watching the chart, waiting for release. But the pathway you used, the one that never failed, has already been marked. Prior trades, prior routes, prior correlations stored and indexed. When your orders pass through it again, they don't just process, they connect. Your accounts align in a single structure, separate identities collapsing into one traceable sequence. Every previous trade feeding into this moment. The announcement hits, the market moves exactly as you knew it would. Your position surges, but the system doesn't care about the profit. It's already finished mapping you. No more low-risk scores, no more passive observation. The flags resolve into action, linking accounts, timing, and origin into one continuous record that doesn't need interpretation anymore. You close part of the position, try to distribute the rest. Execution slows, confirmations lag. A request for verification appears where there never was one before. Not a warning, a checkpoint. Because the system isn't flagging you anymore, it's following you.
Level 7. Full exposure. Morning starts the same. Log in, check balances, review positions. Nothing loads. Your primary account shows a blank panel, then a notice, access restricted. You refresh, same message. Secondary account, locked. Offshore dashboard, unreachable. One by one, every entry point closes before you can even test it. You move faster. Laptop, phone, backup terminal, different networks, same result. Authentication fails, sessions terminate. A verification prompt appears, then disappears before you complete it. You open your file directories, spreadsheets, trade logs, draft models. You start deleting folders, backups, anything tied to timing or routing. The system lags. Files don't vanish immediately. Some reappear after deletion, synced from a server you don't control anymore. You reach for your phone. Messages don't send. Calls don't connect. One contact rings once, then drops. Another goes straight to silence. The encrypted channel you relied on shows no history at all.
threads wiped, keys invalidated. Outside your screen, the system is already moving. Banks freeze linked accounts across jurisdictions. Brokers suspend activity under regulatory instruction. Data centers replicate your transaction history, timestamps, IP logs, routing paths, pulled into a single case file that doesn't need interpretation anymore. Every layer you built gets flattened. Your trades align across accounts. Your accounts align across identities. Your identities align into one structure, central, consistent, undeniable. You open the terminal again, same notice, access denied, not temporary, not review, final. You sit back, staring at screens that used to move when you told them to. Now they don't respond at all. Because the system you learned to read, to bend, to stay ahead of, has already finished reading you. And now it decides what happens next. Everything stops at once. Accounts frozen, cards declined, devices taken before you can shut them down. Your phone mirrors itself to a system you don't control. Every message archived, every call logged, every contact mapped into a structure that no longer belongs to you. Access is replaced with observation. Charges follow without delay. Insider trading, market manipulation, financial fraud. Each one tied to timestamps, transactions, and sequences you built yourself. No gaps, no ambiguity, just records aligned in a way that doesn't need explanation. You sit in rooms where nothing moves quickly. Questions repeat, screens replay your trades, investigators scroll through months of activity like it's a single event unfolding in slow motion. You don't rush answers anymore. There's nowhere left to go. Time compresses, then stretches. Weeks into months, hearings into silence. Conversations reduced to statements, statements reduced to evidence. Your name stops being internal. It appears in documents, in briefings, in summaries meant to explain what happened without needing you present. You become structure, a case, a pattern, a reference point for something that wasn't supposed to be this visible. The numbers remain. Profits, gains, balances, all preserved in records that don't belong to you anymore. But the cost doesn't sit in a spreadsheet. It stays. You didn't break anything. You followed what was already there. Access, timing, information moving just before it became public. You used it the way it allowed you to. For a while, it worked, because systems don't stop you immediately. They record you. Every action becomes part of a pattern. Every pattern becomes direction. And direction eventually leads somewhere you can't step away from. Now there's nothing left to move. A blank trading screen. No positions, no data, no access. Just a terminal that opens and closes without responding, like it's already finished with you. You thought you were ahead of the market, but the market was watching you the entire time. And it never forgets.